Today we're going to talk about 5 things that I wish I knew before I bought my first bike. Riders, welcome to another video. My name is Michael from Mike's Bike Rides, and I'm out here riding, enjoying myself, a little cup of coffee. That's good. So I have probably made all the mistakes that you can make when it comes to getting your first bike, and maybe you can avoid making the mistakes that I have done by learning from my mistakes. Let's go. So the first point is geometry and standards. I can't stress enough how important it is that you read up on the different standard and the measurements that go into mountain bikes, because if you get a bike with the wrong standards, it's just gonna be a pain in the butt. Just right off the bat, get a bike that's Boost 148. A bike like that is probably already gonna be 1 by something, 1 by 10, 1 by 11, 1 by 12, and that's also kind of good because that's what you ultimately want in the long run. The 135 QR and the Boost 141 QR is just a pain in the butt. Those hubs have cup and cone bearings. That means they need readjusting all the time. They need servicing all the time to keep running. And if you don't service them, you're going to just destroy them and have to get a new wheel. Also, the wheels for 135 and 141 is normally not your best wheels from the start, so you're gonna have a lot of problems with them. Also, there's things like the seat post. That's also a big one. If you choose a bike with 27mm diameter seat post, you're not gonna be able to find any good dropper posts. So 30.9 or 31.6, that's much better. So just read up on all the standards and you're gonna be way better off. Number 2, I highly suggest that you consider getting a used bike. Why? The bikes from my first tip actually probably cost more money. And if you look into getting a used bike, you might be able to get a bike with the right standards and a little bit better parts for less money. And also, you're not the one taking the bike out of the shop and the value depreciation that means. And also, when choosing a bike is really difficult because you don't really know what kind of biking you'll enjoy doing at the end. So if you get a used bike, you can feel things out for a bit and then sell it and buy the right bike for you if you're not super sure what kind of biking you'll be doing. In getting a used bike, you just get more for the money. You can get better parts right off the bat. Maybe the previous owner upgraded the bike with better parts and you get those at a very great value. So yeah, just consider looking at a used bike. Come on, focus. Don't have time for this. I gotta get up close and personal for this one because it's really important. Some gear is worth spending money on and some gear is not worth spending money on. And I'm gonna go through a few things that are really things that you should either consider getting or not spending that much money on. So first off, the helmet. Getting a helmet that fits nicely and does have this kind of MTB. It's actually a Swedish company and they're doing very good in the stock market. MTB is this brain protection system that actually allows the helmet to rotate around your head a little bit when to take away rotational damage that's really hurtful on the neck and on the brain. Also, a good mountain bike helmet goes a long way down in the neck, so it protects the back of your head really well. So a good helmet is worth spending, not a fortune on, but maybe 900 crowns, 1,000 crowns on a good helmet. Because my first helmet that I bought was just dreadful. It cost like 500 crowns and it didn't have MIPS, it didn't fit very well, so I got like big indentation in my forehead every time I used it, and it was just awful. Trying out a good helmet and not selling on the first thing they show you, because you can't get a new head now, can you? Riding pants is also something that differs very much from the standard hiking pants and actual riding pants. They may seem that they cost a fortune for like nothing, but there are differences. And I'm gonna quickly cut over to Riding Michael here and he can tell you a little bit more about the differences.
That's absolutely right, Michael. The shorts I'm wearing right now from Endura, I don't know if every short is like this, but they really got some heavy duty material in the groin where you actually sit on the saddle. Normal pants would just get worn out straight away. And also they're really comfortable in this seated position where I'm actually really leaned over. A normal pant would just show my butt crack and be tight when sitting down because they're made for walking and standing up. So these pants have this elastic mesh right by the butt, so the lining of the pants actually stay in my waist where they're supposed to be, and the pants can stretch out and fit just as if I was standing up, and that's super cool. So it's all these small little things that add up to a very big difference between normal pants and riding pants.
So being comfortable on the bike is really important, and getting a nice pair of pants goes a long way in that. I've been riding like hiking shorts and hiking pants for the longest time, and they were never really that comfortable. So when I switched to these Endura MT500s, it was like an awakening for me. It was just so much better, and I really, that's something where you might want to spend a little bit of money. Now when it comes to shoes, that's a bit of a controversy, because MTB specific shoes are going to be very soft in the sole if you're talking about flats, and going to be very grippy against the pedal, and that's very good. But when you start riding, like a pair of Vans or like just a flat training shoe or whatever is going to be good enough in the beginning. But not spending money on a riding shoe right away is that you probably, depending on what kind of riding you do, will switch to riding with clips. I know that seems like a big step now, but once you try it, you're gonna like it. But riding with flats the first year is really good, but spending like 1,500 crowns, 150 euros on a pair of shoes that you're gonna use for a year is, you can put that money elsewhere if you already have a pair of shoes that's got a flat sole and good grip. I got these Shimano shoes, I can't show you. They're not XC shoes and they're not downhill enduro shoes, they're somewhere in between. I think they're very good. I can run them with a little bit of a platform on the pedal and a clip in the middle, or I can ride them as I do now with just the clip pedal, the very light XC one. And they're hard enough to give me support even if I have such a small pedal. But then there are all these other things like riding jerseys, riding jackets and kit and gear and stuff you can just computers and everything. You don't need that to go out and have a good time in the forest. You just don't. That money can go towards servicing the bike regularly, putting gas in the tank to go different places and experience new trails. So good tools, a couple of tubes if you're not running tubeless, and yeah, you're good to go. Next up is research a lot of bikes and brands. There are more bikes out there than the Treks and the Specialized and the Scots. You might find your perfect bike in an off-brand that you might have to get shipped to you. So don't just run into the first bike store you see and let them just choose a bike for you at random. Research, and you might find a bike that suits your needs perfectly. Like me, I found this Radon Krager, and it's just the kind of bike that I need. It's the perfect trail geometry, and it's kind of an unpopular brand in Sweden. It's very popular in Germany, but here in Sweden not so much. but it's actually the perfect bike for me, and it didn't cost a fortune either. Okay, it's starting to rain, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Fifth point is actually go to a real cycling store. Don't go to your local Dick's Sporting Goods or XXL or whatever here in Sweden and Norway, or even a normal bike store that sells street bikes, because they're not going to have the knowledge to choose the right bike for you and ask the right questions and just put you in the right place. I went to XXL and, like, bless his heart, this salesperson knew a thing or two about bikes, but he sized me up by having me stand over the bike and see if I touched the groin on the top tube or not, and just slapped the helmet on my head. Yeah, that's the one for you. And it wasn't. It didn't have nips. It was just awful, not comfortable at all, and just wanted to put a lot of stuff. This root is disintegrating underneath me. Yeah, he just wanted to put a lot of stuff in my bag and get me out the door. So go to a cycling specific store where actual bikers are working, because they're gonna be way better at picking the right bike for you and putting you in a direction that somebody else without the knowledge maybe don't even think of, don't even know about. Paying for that extra bit of service is actually really good. But also, if they don't have the brand that you want, that you have zeroed in on, maybe you can get parts there or anything, but yeah, a real biking store is going to be way much better for you. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed these quick tips. And if you did, please feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. You know, leave a like or something. Oh, it's really raining now, I gotta get going. But yeah, until next time, have a super good one. My name is Michael from Mike's Bike Rides. Bye for now.
Ah, no. Straight through there. Right through, not around.